Here it is. Just wait for more people to come here. Look, we're just doing 80 grit, but you know, see getting all this smoothed out while maintaining the current shape. This way is gonna be more efficient. It's gonna induce more flow. Look at that. You see here, bumps and ridges. And that's pretty normal when you with a cast manifold, you know. So let me click the phone here to get everything ready. Wait, there you go. There. Before we take it to the porting bench, to get everything ready here. We're still on 80 grit right now. Yep. Let me check here. Where's that? Get the volume down. There you go. Here's my other phone I use for checking. Okay. And get my cigarette ready first. It's the first one. First stick, so let's go. Okay, so I'm prepared the porting bench now. Take it there. Just hold on. Let me get there. Oh, sorry. Here we are now. Wait. Get the phone spotted there. Here we go. Get the light properly there. And then, as usual, we put the weight here, so it's not gonna move around. There, B20 pulley, yeah. It's not straight there. So here we gotta cut new 80 grit because the previous one is almost done. Here we are. Let me show you. Hold on. There you go. Yeah. I'm just cutting it right now. Hold on, guys. Just cutting the 80 grit. Wait, I'm trying to figure out. Okay. Here we are. Here up, because I'm replacing it because it's almost done. And put a new one. Because we can continue shaping it. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Almost there. Here we are. Yeah, it's new. Okay, spray this first. Make sure everything is good and clean, so it cuts better. Go. It's a Skunk 2 Ultra Street for a B20 VTEC for a B series. It's Skunk 2. Oh, hello, Mr. Teddy. The problem with the G23 over here is that the H22 is not super common. Although the F22 and F23 is locally available through our local Accord, but the H22 and the other stuff with the H series, it's a lot less common. So it's actually something that I've been really wanting to try because it sounds really fun. Geometrically, it's gonna be epic. It's just the H series parts here is not that common. That's the only problem. And part slingers, they make it sound like it's gold, so they're gonna price it like gold. That's crazy. I know someone though in Melbourne, Josh. I think he was working on one, or he has a few parts that he could actually build the G23 VTEC. So I'm not sure, if at what stage he's in now, but he actually recently made a channel here, and he's working on it, but it's gonna be really cool because he actually recently acquired a mainline dyno. So I told him, you need a channel because you have a dyno. That's gonna be epic. what's funny with that mugged? The first ever Honda that I had back in college, when basically before I even named SRD Motorsports, I was just doing my own thing. I had a D16A6, and because back then the prices were pretty decent, I acquired a Z6 head. So the first thing that I ever did was a mini me. Oh, and it ran 15 flat, so I was stoked with with the stock ECU. So that was the start of everything for me. So I always have a soft spot for mini me. So, well, no, actually, the the Vitara. The reason why they went for Vitara pistons is because it's a lot lower compression, and of course, it's kind of like sorry, it's kind of like stronger. Like it's kind of like an NPR piston, so it's the only downside with the Vitara piston is it gets you down to lower than 8:1 compression. So basically, it's a third below 3,000 RPM because it's not gonna pull anything because the compression is too low. But it will let you like Mug said, it'll let you go to 400 easy. But almost everyone that I know that went Vitara pistons, sooner or later they went to Wiseco or Arias pistons for a little bit more compression, better response, and just overall better engine. And nowadays, with the prices of the Vitara pistons and rods, it's no longer uh, it's no longer a viable option, or it's no longer a option because we can also get good deals with Wiseco and Arias pistons, even CP pistons. So you can just go straight to forged. Look at this. Wait, oh, we got trying to take some videos for actually making a good video about this. So I wanna take a shot video on my other phone just to make the content, but I'll also include you guys. Yep. Actually, it nicely done right there. But in reality, I definitely agree with that. No, it's a wise choice. Um, oh, what state in the U.S.? Um, the B series is quite common, yeah. The K series is getting, it's also as common. It's just that I have nothing against K series. It's just that it attracts the weird enthusiasts, you know. Oh, Ohio, cool. I mean, if we see a B series enthusiast that won K series, that's pretty good. But a lot of times there are a lot of people that instead of learning more about B series, they jump to K, not with just limited info, and so they just get, they hit a certain spot or ceiling and they're just stuck there. Yeah, actually, I've been I've been actually considering an F series, just just for fun, just because the geometry is there, so it's just that it's basically like the reason why a D series is just is not as strong as a B series is because we don't have a 2 liter D series. So well, B18 non VTEC is almost the same as a B20. Oh, Indonesia, cool. So Teddy, you'll be surprised. I'm a big fan of Iwake. You know, Oh yeah, well with the D6 D17 stuff, yeah, I've heard about it. It's just that the only I haven't seen much of it that lasted long. I mean, when I was like maybe like 15 or 13 years old, when Bebas came out in I think 1998 or 1999, Iwake was the man. Philippines, Malati. Oh, but interesting, Teddy. That means you guys also get a PH stamped engines, which is like, local to us. Yep, Skunk 2 Ultra Street Manifold. Get inverted now to do the other side. Here it is. We're just cleaning it up. As you can see here, you see those casting marks. Those are casting marks from cast, So we're just trying to clean that up. We're not really changing the shape. We're just making sure it's all cleaned up. So sorry. So Obviously, when it's cleaned up, it'll just be more efficient, so it's gonna be better. But as it is, it's already better than a Type R. So yeah, it's actually during the manufacturing when they cast it on the mold. As you can see here. But even with that, it's already better than a Type R. It's just that the owner of this Nikko just wanted, a little bit more improvement. So because his car is over here at the shop with getting a cam upgrade. So he said, maybe I could work on this. I was like, yeah, sure. And I figured out I'll share it on live now. It's gonna be easier. And this is just 80 grit. So I'm not gonna use a carbide. It's just 80 grit. So because if we use a carbide, it's gonna cut too much. It might change the shape. Oh, thanks, man. Tyson. It's a cool name right there. Hey, Alan. You're kind of late. Thanks for that, Tyson. I've heard about it. The 4G93 is not super common here in the Philippines. We usually get 4G15 and 4G63, but the 4G93 is not common. But I've heard about it. Again. This is just soapy water and a bit of alcohol. There's a little deep here. wait. 4B11T is from what? From a Lancer. Okay, it makes sense. Actually, mugged. I've heard. I think I've kind of heard about that, and it's funny because it's almost similar to all platforms. Like we know with the Toyota, it's the 4AG. You can slap on a 7AG block to make it bigger. You know. Actually, Alan, yeah, actually, good point. It's just I guess one of the reasons why they try to minimize where extra work is it might bump up the price and it'll just not sell so much. Oh, my Vec. Oh, that's actually we've we've seen a couple of Lancers here with an engine swap with a Myvec. That's pretty decent. That's pretty good. Nah, yeah. Well, I'm the only reason why I have a few ideas on Toyota is because I've never worked on a 4AG as well as much as I wanted to. But if you check, Formula Atlantic back in the US was actually like a Formula 3, but strictly used the 4AG Toyota engine. It had ITBs. It was making 200 horsepower. It was crazy. And when you think about it, it's kind of like a hyper strong B16A because the bore and stroke of 4AGE is almost identical as a B16. Good point on the ITBs, and that's also a reason why I have a ITB for my D series and for my B series, and I've just have to put more time in it so I can work on it because I'd like to make a content and a video on the ways you can make it more usable or drivable so it's not gonna be a pain, stuff like that. And I'm still working on it, and hopefully it's gonna be a good content in the near future because my D series ITB is just here on the shelf waiting. Oh, tell me more about it then. I mean, how much are you making currently? Yeah, just write it down there. I'm gonna see it later as I continue. So don't worry. There, closer to being clean, good. Oh, there. Wait. Ah, that's pretty good, mugged. That's a pretty good setup. Oh, Alan, this one actually, this one is gonna be a lot quicker because obviously we don't need to weld it, just Allen bolts. So I don't usually count by hours, but you know, it could take me maybe 2 to 3 days. But that's 2 to 3 days with just throwing in like 3 or 4 hours max per day. You know. That's a good setup, actually. What intake do you have? I mean, if it's a stock intake manifold, you can jump to a Skunk 2 Pro Series, and it's gonna be really good. It's gonna let it breathe good. So yeah, Alan, and the reason why I actually prefer doing it like that, like 3 hours, 3 hours by the day, and then the next day, because if I do 3 hours right now, and I do it again the next day, a lot of things it just looks different in my eye for the next day, so I get to improve it even better. Oh, SI transmission, that's pretty good. Also, you got a Z6 intake, so that's pretty decent. But yeah, I mean, it might be costly, but if you can grab at least a used or second-hand Skunk 2 Pro Series intake, grab it. It's like a big help. It's like it would make you feel like you actually upgraded pistons or the compression a bit, because the responsiveness and the top end would actually help. especially like this, Alan. Like for example, right now, let's say let's give it a bit like 30 more minutes, then I'll be done. I'll actually clean this up with water, and then bring it back to the bench where I sit, so I can check on it when it's clean. And then after that, go back here to continue further because it gives me a better visual, you know. So with that being said, that means it's 2:47 p.m. right now. So this is gonna be a half an hour more, and then I'll try to go live again later at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. doing the second phase. So because hey, I'm already here at the shop. It's a Sunday, so why not? Um, it's gonna be really costly, but a 62 millimeter ITR throttle will be good. But since that's gonna be costly and people tend to hog on Type R parts, you can just get a B16 throttle that's 60 millimeter, and that's gonna be a really really good upgrade for the Mini Me. So basically, just a B16 throttle that's a 60 millimeter. Well, that's a valid point, mugged. It's cheaper if you're coming from Evos, like way cheaper. Oh wait, let me read this. Oh well, if you're in a chipped ECU, you actually don't need to bypass it. You can actually just adjust the percentage of the IACV, idle air control valve, on its function. A lot of times it's just set to 0%. So you can add like maybe 10%, 15, 20%, whichever helps your idle good without really needing to bypass it. So that's one of the good things with the chipped ECUs. You can actually tweak the IACV to suit the engine and the setup. This is why even on Pro 3s, I can get to tune it and it'll idle on 900 RPM with AC. But of course, you'd want to make sure your IACV is clean enough and working properly. So but that's easy. That's part of the maintenance. Yup. It's good now. Having a breather. We can continue. Let's be honest, all four. Three passes. Then we call it done. Yeah. So I think you can just tweak it a little bit more. Let's say maybe on the chipped ECU, it's at 10% or 15% IACV on the reaction mode. So you can jump it up to 20%, even 30%. So it can help. Well, in theory, yes, it is better. It's just that there's a lot more things to consider. But yep, it's actually by design. It's actually better. If it lasts longer, we're not sure, but I think it's gonna last longer. But we have to wait for time to tell us that. Well, with the Civic, let's say with a B series, right? On a Civic, on a B series, they'll just use mostly how a CRV has four-wheel drive. The components and all that, and of course in the U.S. uh, Drag Cartel and even Speed Factory now offers aftermarket support on the drive shaft, transfer case, rear axles of the CRV and Odyssey. This way, you can make a four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive that's strong enough that's based on the factory. That's for the B series. And then for the K series is much the same. They're just using a newer generation CRV, the Gen 2 and Gen 3 CRV based components. Of course, the stock ones won't last that long, but they also have aftermarket that's based on that. I mean, if I had a choice, I'll just might as well just race the CRV. I wouldn't bother converting a Civic to all-wheel drive. I'll just race the CRV. Drop in good parts on the CRV with Speed Factory drivetrain and all that, and then hey, fast CRV isn't that bad, right? Yep. Yes, I know Jack Cartel offers that, and also their source is also sometimes some of the parts are PPG and all that, but it's also complete. So when you decide to go all wheel drive and go racing with all out parts, there's available parts because I'm not saying it was easy for them, but because the CRV already existed, it's easy to base the parts on that. You know and then you just convert the Civic chassis to retain the all-wheel drive components of a CRV. So technically, it's kind of a lot of work, but pretty good actually. But then again, personally, if it was me, I'll just race a CRV. I'll just buy a Gen 1 CRV, get all the drag cartel parts bolted on, go racing with a B20 turbo. That's gonna be fun. At least for a change. Oh wait, I have to finish this up. Actually, yeah, that actually mugged. That's pretty much the same here in my country. Like 9 out of 10 CRVs that we can find here is automatic. We barely, when we find a manual CRV, the owner is not willing to part out. Not willing to sell it. So, yep. I didn't know that too. interesting. I'm not sure if I've seen that here, but it probably existed. But you know, oh, what the hell? Really? That's interesting. Maybe that's why it's hard to come by. Yeah, I heard that. I noticed that mugged. You know, it's like in the U.S. it was all gasoline Hondas. Here I'm not sure, but I think there is indeed a CRV that's diesel. I think one of my tuner friends has it, but he never talked about it. So maybe like Ted says, it's slow as fuck, man. We don't know. I mean, we know if it was fast, he would have probably talked about it, but he didn't. So maybe Teddy is actually on point. That was interesting. No, it's more here. True. Hey, but you know, I sometimes wish here in the Philippines trucks like in the U.S. You know, here all we get is pickups. You know, which is fine, but I wouldn't mind a truck. You know, plus Toyota Hilux and Land Cruisers are already getting too expensive. Might as well get a truck. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna clean this up now. But are still here a little later. We'll continue this. So Teddy and Muggs and Alan earlier. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being around, and just really happy that we're all quite sensible here. We don't see any random trolls. Unlike Facebook, it's just getting crazy there. So, yep. Teddy, I assume the time there is actually the same here, right? Around 3:06 p.m. So that's pretty cool, right? Later on, guys. I'll continue later. All right, thanks, man.